Describe what it was like to be part of this conference in its relative infancy to today.
Well, it was an incredible adventure. I was only in office a couple of months when I went to my first such conference. It was in 1986, and the conference was in its second annual conference. It was in Washington, D.C., and I was so new to everything, but so were many of my colleagues who I was meeting, and I think there were 14 of us, just slightly over a dozen. We were global in that we had one member of the British Parliament join us, so we weren't just U.S. And it was more aptly described, I think, as a support group than it would be a conference. I mean, we really talked to one another about our path to public office, what went well, what didn't go well, were we attacked, did they use the gay issue, and then our aspirations in office. What did we want to accomplish for the people that we represented? And sometimes that was talking about LGBT issues, where what rights were desperately needed. But oftentimes it was about the agenda that we brought to office outside civil rights, health care or environmental issues. And so it was really a great opportunity to share. And I really treasured getting to know these people who became my dear friends ever since.
And so how does it feel now when you have 300 or so people to talk about it?
It's a very different dynamic now. You couldn't possibly get to know over the course of 2.5 days of a conference with the sort of same intimacy and same detail the lives and experiences of 300 plus elected and appointed officials. So it's a different dynamic. I think we're trying to figure out ways to network and to allow those very important relationships to develop outside of the conference as well as at the conference. We used to have, an elected officials caucus, and we still do, but to go around the room just to even introduce yourself takes up the entire meeting, let alone getting into a discussion that might flow from that. So, but that's also an incredibly positive step forward. Numbers are great in that we're having impact in every corner now of the United States and across the globe, and it's something that we should rejoice, even if it does mean that you can't get to know each person as well as you'd like.
One of the things last year when I attended in Houston was the Women's Forum. I won't be able to attend it this time, but discussing how to run as a woman, as an out lesbian in various parts of the country. There were still commonalities that I found kind of amusing about hair and dress. Can you talk about that a little?
Oh, absolutely. I still think that whenever I am on the evening news in my home community, I'm at a press conference, I'm making remarks, and there's a snippet. I will run into constituents the next day or so afterwards, and they'll say, "Oh, I saw you on TV." And I said, "Oh, what was I talking about?" And they'll say, "I don't know, but you looked fine," or, your hair looked great, or something like that. That it is still very, very common, unfortunately, to have less of attention paid to the substance and a lot more to the style and things that should be irrelevant in public serving the public. So I think that hasn't changed, but hopefully as we are reaching positions of power, and I've got to say that, for example, the election of Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House, third in line for the presidency, you have to listen to what she says. It is not, we are now in positions where we have clout, we have power, and substance is important, and so things are changing, but not as fast as I'd like.